when they're lining up on the grid. And now we're hearing the unmistakable engine noise of the Super 1600 cars doing a little bit of tyre cleaning. Eric, how important is a tyre cleaner in a Super 1600 car? They're hard to get off the line, aren't they?
Yeah, it's all about traction with its front-wheel drive, and yeah, of course it's more about cleaning tires. You don't get much heat, but of course it's just to get tires clean. It's important.
And that's something that's quite unique to rallycross, isn't it? Because the tyres do come in covered in dirt. Sometimes the paddock is a gravel paddock. It's not like a race paddock, is it?
No, of course. But I think you only have allowed to do one cleaning, so it should be the same for everybody.
And it's enough, one clean, to clean the tyres or not?
Yeah, I think it's enough.
Here is the grid then. Zagimenov and Linnemann on the front row. Misula and Bauminis on the second row. Shigabutinov and Veverka on the third. Zagimenov then is on the left-hand side in the Skoda Fabia, in the work Skoda colours. Linnemann on the right in the Peugeot 208. If you watched last year, then you'll know, you'll be very familiar with the colours of this car. In a 207 in a similar colour scheme last year. He was third in 2013, won in UK and Sweden. He was having a good weekend. It didn't go according to plan in the final heat. We'll have a chat about that in a moment. In the meantime, let's get these guys underway. Zagimenov and Linnemann then away from the front row. Behind them, Misulia, who is trying to come through the middle. It's a great start for the Russian driver in the orange Fabia. Squeezes right through the middle. There was no gap there. And he tried to make himself one straight to the Joker lap. Fantastic start from Misulia. The crowd have gone nuts. 4 cars have gone around the Joker lap. And the 2 front row drivers, Zagimenov and Linnemann, have gone straight for the normal lap.
Yeah, great move by Misulia. I thought he was going for the normal track, but then he just went in the middle of them and raced straight into the Joker.
And yeah, that's probably a sensible move, isn't it, when he was sandwiched between the two?
Yeah, of course. It would have been some contact and maybe some car would have stopped there.
Very, very clear head for the Russian driver, who's relatively new to rallycross. He's in third place right now in the orange Fabia. You're seeing Zagimenov and Linnemann coming over the line now. Zagimenov won the first heat, Linnemann won heats 2 and 3, but he had a DNF in heat 4.
Yeah, he stopped on the track. I don't know what happened, but I think it will be between these two guys.
Misulia is holding up a train of cars behind him. Very promising driver. He won a Lada one-race championship, the Lada Grande Cup, and the prize is actually a drive in the World Touring Car Championship in Russia. So he'll be going up against the likes of Sebastian Loeb and the minds of the Work Citroen team in World Touring Cars. He's so enthusiastic, Eric.
Yeah, he's very spectacular. You know, he pushes it to the limit always.
Up and over the curbs in the Super 1600s. They don't carry the curbs quite as well as the supercars do. No problem. Through the chicane, down the start, finish straight. That train of cars behind. Interested to see if anyone feels brave enough. Shigabutinov is at the back. Veverka just in front. Baumanis in front of him. Oh, Shigabutinov having a look at Veverka, and Shigabutinov makes the pass on Veverka. Good job. Veverka runs really wide in the 206. And that's him dropped to the back of the grid. So Shigabutinov on the move. Up next is Baumanis, who is in another set promotion car, I think. So we won't want to run him off the road. Not strictly teammates really in Super 1600, they just run from the same preparation company.
Yeah, of course. And it's really tight class, you know, it's very tight on the time, so it's always a lot of action.
Now, Eric, last year you where were you here? You were second in Portugal last year.
Yeah.
Well, what was the secret to a decent race time here, or to the final here? I mean, it's a tricky track.
Yeah, I think it's the gravel section, and especially the front-wheel drive cars is quite different to drive. It's a lot of understeering, so you need to be very committed on the gravel section. And the gravel section changes a lot here through the week, and we can see there, can't we, as we look into this corner, how much tarmac has appeared on the entry. Yeah, it's almost like one line, and you know, it's a bit different for the supercars. The four-wheel drive are sliding more, so it's different every time you go out. And now, last night we saw a clean line. They've brought the grader out 3 times today and dragged the gravel back in again, and then wet gravel as well, and that causes its own issues too. Yeah, because normally it gets like a hole to just driving. It was interesting earlier on, talking to Timmy Hansen, saying that the track has got much bumpier. He didn't know whether to change the settings on the car or to wait for it to clean again, for the gravel to be pushed out and for the car to come back to him. But either way, he hasn't made it through to the final. So we're not going to see Zagimenov. Whoa, Linnemann up on 2 wheels on the far side of the track, out of the commentary box position. Wow. Everybody being really aggressive on the curbs. And Eric, you said we've seen cars pitched over here just by clipping the curb. Yeah. I think the curbs are very high here and difficult to drive and just unstabilize the car. So I think you should stay off them in some places, and some places you need to attack them.
Zakimenov is leading this one from Linneman. We're on the final lap. Those two guys are both going into the Joker lap now. This is what's going to decide who wins this race. I'm convinced that Zakimenov has got enough time. Linneman, those run wide in the Joker lap. Linneman's been dropped. Linneman dropped from second down to fourth place. Great drive by Zakimenov. What did Linneman do wrong?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit too fast into the Joker. It was almost out in the gravel. So we lost some time there.
Unlucky then for Linneman. He's had a pretty decent weekend, as I say. He won 2 heats, heat 2 and heat 3. Bit of understeer for Zakimenov, but it won't matter. He's under no threat whatsoever. He's going to win this one. First round of Super 1600s goes to Zakimenov. Second is Miss Julia. Third is Balmanis. Well, pretty typical Super 1600 final. Here is the result. Zakimenov from Miss Julia. Balmanis, Linneman, who lost it on the final lap, Shigabutinov, and Viverka.